we really want to make it possible to experience your books in a new way. So if you go to a place, right, imagine, whatever sort of augmented reality that we're going to have, whether that's Google Glass or looking at it through your tablet or your phone, but being able to say, I'm sitting here, and these literary things happen around me. People tell stories. They've always told stories, and they won't stop telling stories. But every time there's advances in technology, that story starts to change and how we interact with that. We're going through a period of rapid technological change, and the stories are going to stay. How you deal with those stories, how you interact with those stories, that changes, and we want to be at the forefront of that change.
After Prometheus had stolen fire from the gods, they decided that he deserved to be punished. And so they chained him to the top of a mountain, where every day an eagle would come down and eat his liver. And every night that liver would grow back so it could be eaten again the next day. This is a story that's thousands of years old and one that we're all familiar with. But what we may not know is that the original storytellers had a specific location in mind. They saw Prometheus chained to the top of Mount Elbrus, the tallest mountain in Europe. It's located about 140 miles east of Sochi, where the Olympics were held last winter. My name's David Herring, and I'm one of the founders of Booma, the book mapping project. Booma is changing the way that we interact with stories. And it's doing this by showing us where the locations from our favorite books exist in the real world. For example, in On the Road, Jack Kerouac described his 1949 trip to Tucson, Arizona. As he was driving down Fort Lowell Road, he described the city as one big construction job. He said that the people here were transient, wild, ambitious. But if you visit Booma, we're not just going to tell you where that location is. We're also going to show you images of it. We're going to let you interact with other readers. We're going to provide historic context for it. Why was he driving down Fort Lowell Road? In the 1930s, a group of artists had bought some of the old buildings from the fort, and they renovated them, and they created a small community. His friend and fellow author, Alan Harrington, was living out there with his mother at the time, and Jack Kerouac needed to borrow $5. That's why he was there. But we understand if our content is important, that we also need a mapping platform that shares that content effectively. And so what we're doing is our developers are creating a platform that can deal with large amounts of data. So whether we're mapping a single book or an entire library, that data will be easy to access and readily available for you. At the same time, our designers are creating an intuitive and attractive user interface that makes it easy to find information and easy to follow it. And it also works on any sort of platform. So wherever you are, and whenever you want to access information from Booma, we can show it to you. And of course, we're also thinking about the content creators. The Booma platform is valuable for anybody who wants to map information, whether it has anything to do with books or not. But amongst this group, there's one group of people that we're excited to work with, and those are educators in the digital humanities. I spent my summer interviewing people who make book maps. Professors, students, tech people from colleges all across the country. And in those conversations, the same difficulties popped up over and over again. One of them was the limited access to platforms. Lots of universities don't have budgets for digital humanities, and the ones that do don't have enough money for all the projects that want to be completed. But by creating a universal platform, one that's not bound to a single campus, we can take advantage of the benefits of scale, and for about $10 or $15 per student, about the cost of a novel in an English class, we can provide access to a top-line digital humanities platform. What that means is that we can create more content. People who are currently cannot have access to this will be able to create it. And if we collect that content in one single area, it allows us to solve another problem that I heard about over and over again. And that was that the people who made these maps, they were passionate about what they were doing. They saw real value in adding something to our literary experience, but they were frustrated that they couldn't reach an audience. But without sacrificing academic integrity, we can connect them with users, casual readers, people who want an enhanced reading experience, or people who want to create their perfect literary vacation. And by bringing those two groups together, we can create something else that's important too. And that is a project that will continue to improve over time as other people add information to it. And we can create a self-sustaining living entity that doesn't need to beg for money to be preserved. But the best part of bringing all these things together is that once we do, we can continually improve our platform. And so every time we go through this process, the platform gets a little bit better. So once a book is mapped, it doesn't really need to be mapped again. So maybe the next group through, they want to add additional information. They want to add video, or they want to create an immersive experience for augmented reality. Or maybe they want to do something entirely different. Maybe they're interested in history, or archaeology. Because what we're really doing is creating the technological support that the humanities deserve. But stories. Stories is where we begin. Because the Booma team understands the value in stories. And we understand how long-lasting that value is. We recognize that the best stories are hundreds of years old, sometimes thousands of years old. And that's important. Because the truth is that none of us know what the future holds. None of us knows what the world's going to look like in 50 or 100 years. None of us know what technology is going to be available. But we can say with confidence that as long as there are people, they're going to be telling stories, and they're going to continue to interact with them. And however they choose to do that, we're going to be ready to support them. So if you're an educator, or if you're a book lover, if you're just a traveler who's ready for the next great adventure, we want you to join us in changing how we see the world around us. Thank you.